is our little lion, Ojas Chitnis. I hope I welcome Joe Fellow, and he is the current Leo Lion Board Liaison. He will be speaking about personal journey from Leo to Lion. Welcome, Lion Ojas.
Well, thank you so much for that kind introduction. How are we all doing this morning? Haven't we had a great couple days together here in California? It's been amazing to be with all of you here. I feel revitalized, and I remember why I became a Leo. So when I give the signal, Alicia's going to put up our sign, and we're all going to roar in support of the forum organizing, host committee, and all of the great facilitators that have made this forum the great forum that it is. Alicia, take it away. Well, all right. Thank you all so much. It's a privilege to be here. And let's get started. These two handsome gentlemen on the screen. Today we're going to cover a few things. One, where we've been, or more accurately, how did I get here to California today? Second, we're going to cover where we are, the current state of affairs. And third, we're going to cover where we're going. One, where we've been. So one that is on the screen, although you may not believe it. Don't scratch your eyes. Is that what you should say, Canada, when it's for? So I'm just a kid from Jersey. As Ryan Ryan says, he's just Ryan, I'm just a. I almost didn't affiliate with Lions. I had this as my first Halloween costume. I was first associated in 2010, and yes, that is me again. And my parents started their Lions, but I always wondered, where did the passion come from? Well, it came in 1985, when my father joined the Mirrors Leo Club in his hometown of India. And he credits that with taking him where he is today. Service defined my youth. Every single weekend, we would go to some community event, some project to help those that we didn't even know. And because of that, I learned the true values of community service. Eventually, I had my Lions moment. As past President Doug asked us, when did you become a Lion? When did you become a Leo? Not the day you joined, but the day when you realized the impacts that we made on society and the world. That moment happened for me in 2012, and it started with a bicycle. How many of you out there have watched the movie Cars? Lion Mahesh can attest. When I was a kid, I forced my parents to sit through that movie no less than 200 times. Okay, Lion, move it. Technology is today. So this is my Cars bike that I had to give away in 2012 because it was taking up too much space in our garage. But we figured, why not donate it to a worthy cause? In July of 2012, there was an apartment fire in Woodbridge, New Jersey. These families had lost everything. This was mostly immigrant families. They had lost everything, from their passports to their bank accounts. We as Lions were working on getting them off the ground, getting them back in the flow of things. But no one was thinking about the kids. So the kids and a few of the Lions, we got together and gave them a few toys. That's what we called it, Project SMS. Not a short messaging system, but some more smiles, because that's what we need in this world. The magnitude of Lions is extraordinary. That's why I'm proud to be a member of this association. This happened for me in 2012, when Hurricane Sandy, again, hit the east coast of the United States. It just so happened that our international president, Brian, when he was sitting as international director, as well as the Lions of the world, came together in support of our local community across the northeast of the U.S. In 2012, Lion Brian visited Nebraska, USA, and forced and got the Council of Governors to show their support by shaving their heads and raising $4,000 for relief efforts. We received the Lions MCAT grant, which is for major catastrophes, which allowed us to get our communities back on their feet. And finally, I just want to emphasize for Lion Government that LCIF is our foundation. When we needed the support in Hurricane Sandy, LCIF was there for us. But we paid it forward in 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic hit. I'll give you one example. Lions from Texas loaded up a truck full of supplies and delivered it to Perth Amboy, New Jersey. We were so happy that in 2020, funds raised by our Lions from Leo clubs went back to that same community in Texas through Lions Club International Foundation. So the emphasis on the E, what does the E stand for in Leo? Experience. I became a Leo in 2015 in Sayreville, New Jersey. This is our charter ceremony. I became an advisor panelist in 2019. For those of you who don't know, we'll get to that in the next slide. But we made Leo connections across the world. That's what's incredible about forums and events like this. Leos across the world make an impact, but they have so much different background and experiences than our own. When we connect with those who share in our service, it's truly powerful. How many of you have met someone with a completely different story than your own at this morning? Exactly. The power of this association lies in bringing together people through our common language of service. We may speak different languages. We may pray to different deities. We may live in different communities. We all share the same motto: we serve. So now, what is the Leo Advisory Panel? This group of people is your Leo Advisory Panel. They advise our board of directors on how best to implement youth policies around the world. We have 8 advisory panelists for constitutional area 1 and 2. This forum represents, and like I said on the screen, these are the people you need to bother. If you want to see a change in the Leo Club program, even in your local club level, you gotta reach out to one of these 8 people. So can we have our advisory panelists please stand up? Like I said, the VC inbox is getting too full. You got to reach out to some of these people. Moving on up. My Advanced Lions Leadership Institute class, our motto was moving on up. So I moved to Washington, D.C., which is conveniently just far enough from my home that the cell signal doesn't reach there. But at least that's what I tell my parents. I stayed involved with Lions. Why did I do that? It's because I had such a positive experience at the grassroots level. I had so many positive experiences learning from my fellow Leos and Lions alike. We chartered a campus club. We were privileged to have it. And I must say, that continuing your service into your college years provides unparalleled opportunities. One thing that I'll add is that at the Leo level, we focus a lot on service, personal development. But at the campus club level, there's so many opportunities for professional engagement. I'll give you another example. In our club, we have a number of members who are interested in going into lobbying. And it just so happens that our sponsoring club is made up of Lions Club International's lobbyists on capital. So where are we now? So I have the privilege of being appointed by President Sheehan to be the Leo Lions Board Liaison. So now what do? If you ask Kamisi Grace, she would say that we increase her blood pressure. And we pause her daily to reconsider her employment as a Lions Club International. If you ask me and my partner, Katarina Iverson Deacons from Australia, we would say it's the greatest opportunity we've ever been given. And also invokes nostalgia in our parents, co-workers, parents, and friends, because they miss us. We spend too much time away from home. But if you ask one of our past advisory candidates, either Kyle Matillier from Canada, Eleonora Frigia from Italy, Padre Kansong from Malaysia, or Shahendra Rafat from Egypt, Ayush Magla from India, or Polio Caceres from Uruguay. Or if you even ask our media past liaisons, Uli Herman and Stefan Uben, they would say it's the greatest opportunity to listen. I have an issue here. When Brian asked me to be the Leo Lions Board Liaison, he could have said anything after that. He could have said, I got to go to Bird Island, Minnesota, and watch his car every 2 weeks. And I would have done it if he said that would help the youth of the world. But I didn't really realize the magnitude of what I had to do until I made it to Montreal for our international convention. At the opening plenary session, we had a candidate for third vice president write this intense love letter to Lions Club International, where he recounted how the support of our past international presidents guided his service journey. He recounted that his mentor, Joe Rogowski from Pennsylvania, told him that we serve better together. How his first president as international director told us to share success through service. How Barry Palmer from Australia told us to follow your dream. How Gudrun Ingadal, the first female president of our association, told us to look beyond the horizons. And how our immediate past president, Doug, told us that we need to serve from the heart. It was at that moment that I realized this is an incredibly large organization. 1.4 million members, 180,000 Leos. You think that I can represent all of them by myself? No. That's why we need them. We need your support. I need you to reach out to me. How can I be a liaison for all of you if I can't be involved? At the grassroots level, all the way up to the international level, youth engagement is critical for the success of our association. Now, where are we going? Getting the most E from your O. Now, we know what the E stands for. What does the O stand for? Opportunity. So getting the most experience from the opportunities you're given. If I can backtrack a little bit. The fourth person from the left and third from the right, her name is Madeleine of Lysa. She's from Romania. And truly, without her, I don't think I'd be standing here today. When I was first appointed to be the Leo Advisory Analyst, I was just a kid from Jersey. I had no idea what I was doing. But she believed in me enough to make me the vice chairperson of her committee. I never looked back. We worked on membership experience for a year together. She eventually went off to grad school in Italy. But the lessons she taught me will never leave. So believe in yourself. I see too many Leos who say, I can't do it. Can you all do it? Yes. We got to share in service. What's the use of coming to this forum unless we share the lessons we learned here with the other 180,000 Leos who couldn't join us in Visalia, California? Are you going to do that when you go home?
Yes.
That's a sneak preview for the beginning. We do adapt to the needs of our communities and members. This association is 105 years old. In 1917, when Melvin Jones called together the business leaders of the Midwest, I don't think he could have imagined what the needs would be today. He wouldn't have imagined that we need a foundation that brings in $324.6 million over 4 years. He wouldn't have imagined that we need thousands of medical trucks in the field to do vision work for low-income patients. He wouldn't have imagined that we need this Leo Club program to develop the future of the world, not just our association, but the future leaders of the world. And finally, have fun. I think that it's self-explanatory. Unless you're smiling, like these two Leos from Texas on the left, or the right rather, are you really having a good time? When we serve, we do it because we care for our communities, but we also do it because we're with our friends, our clubs, our mentors, and those are the people who are most supportive of us. Now, the Leo strategic plan, Amici Grace touched on this a little bit, but we need your support to implement all of these things. One, we need more Leos in our club. We have an ambitious goal to hit 200,000 Leos by 2026. We want to enhance each one of those Leos with membership experience by providing them opportunities for self-development. We want to transition them into being strong minds. And finally, LCIF. We've heard a lot about how we need to raise more money for our foundation. But we also need to make Doug and Brian's job a little more harder by getting them to spend more money on the Leo causes. We heard yesterday about a Leo club that got a $100,000 grant to build an inclusive playground. We need more success stories like that from our Leos. Because when they engage with our foundation, it magnifies hope and it magnifies the impact we make on the world. And finally, I think it's played a few times. But the first time I actually got into a training with Brian was this past June, despite knowing him for 11 years. But I will always remember that in 2014 in Toronto, when he was becoming a district governor, Brian was his teacher. And for some reason, I landed up in that class. That was a mistake, by the way, because Brian has a bazooka that shoots marshmallows. So it was a mistake to end up in that classroom. But this will always stick with me. This is what I'm going to leave you all with. That you don't
stop, don't give up. Don't stop, don't give up. Don't stop, don't give up. Don't stop, don't give up. Don't stop, don't give up. Keep trying, keep trying. Don't give up, don't give up. You'll get it right, you'll get it right.
Are we going to not stop and we're not going to give up?
No.
No. I'll leave you with this. I was talking to Sanjeev Ahuja, who manages our international staff in Oak Brook, Illinois. He's our executive administrator, our CEO. I asked him, being a consultant with 20 years of experience, why did he come to work for Lions Club International, a nonprofit organization? And he told me this, that very rarely do we get opportunities to work with good organizations. Those are the organizations that provide value to their stakeholders, that make a profit, that do all the right things. Even more rarely do we get the opportunity to work for a great organization, one that makes you get out of bed in the morning, one that makes you say, hot dog, it's a great day to go to work. But even more rarely, maybe even never, do we get an opportunity to work with an important organization. And that's what we as Lions and Leos get to do every day. We get to make an impact on the world while developing ourselves. So I just have a few questions for you. I'm going to call, at least you're going to hear you back. How are we going to solve the issue, or how can we solve the issues pressing in our community? Together, we can. How do we get involved? How do we develop our 180,000 Leos into the leaders for tomorrow? Together. And then finally, how are we going to close out this forum and have a great second half of the day, and hopefully cut off one of our speeches if they try to go too long? Together, we can. And the final point I'll leave you with is that I was in exactly your shoes 7 years ago. I was 12 years old when I became a Leo. After 5 years of experience, I still had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I had no idea what the wide world offers, and I probably still don't. But by being a member of this association, by taking forward these initiatives in your clubs and districts, you get to experience a world of opportunity that's unparalleled. If we hadn't come here to California today or this past week, I don't think we would have experienced the things that we did. If we aren't involved in this organization, I don't think we're going to learn the lessons that we need to learn to go into the future. So let's do it one more time. How can we develop ourselves into the leaders that we need? Together. Thank you all so much. It's a pleasure to be with you all. Like I said, this reminds me why I became a leader. Thank you all.